Hi, Coach Shawn here. Today we're going to talk about parental alienation. If you've been alienated from your child, you already know this is not family drama. This is psychological warfare inside your own bloodline. And what makes it even more brutal today is this. You are not battling a high conflict or narcissistic ex. You are battling a whole culture that tells your child to cut people off, protect your peace. If they make you uncomfortable, they're toxic. So now alienation doesn't just happen behind closed doors. It gets justified on social media. And for some parents, the pain gets so intense and so prolonged that they become suicidal. So today I'm going to talk about why we're seeing so many alienated parents now, why so many kids are vulnerable to these dynamics, why some therapists are unintentionally making it worse, and what I want you to understand if you're trying to survive this without losing your mind. Before I go into this, if you are a parent listening right now and you're having thoughts of not wanting to be here, I need you to hear me clearly. You are not weak. This experience can break the strongest people. Please don't carry that alone. Stay with me through this video. Let's define it simply. Parental alienation is when a child becomes aligned with one parent and rejects the other, not because of reality, not because of consistent abuse, but because of influence, pressure, fear, reward systems, and narrative control. It's a relational hijacking, and it usually thrives in high conflict divorce, personality disorder dynamics, enmeshment, guilt, fear, and loyalty binds in a child who learns that closeness must be earned through compliance. Now here's what's different today. We're in a perfect storm of factors, a culture of instant gratification, a social media narrative that confuses boundaries with punishment, a therapy culture that sometimes validates feelings without teaching accountability, a generation that wasn't consistently trained in distress tolerance. And in many families, money plus status becoming the reward parent magnet. Alienation didn't just start on TikTok, but social media absolutely supercharged it. Now I'm going to say something that sounds a little bit harsh, but I need you to understand what I mean. A lot of kids today are not trained in grit, not because they're bad, but because the culture is different. Everything is faster. Instant entertainment, validation, dopamine, instant block them solutions, instant identity labels, instant community online. So when a child hits discomfort, like a parent requiring emotional maturity, humility, responsibility, self-reflection, and empathy, they don't automatically have the skills to stay in the room. They've learned that discomfort equals danger. And that's not resilience, that's fragility. A healthy parent says, we're going to talk about this. We're going to repair. We're going to grow. A dysfunctional system says, if it feels bad, run. If it challenges you, label it toxic. And alienation feeds into that. Now let's talk about the piece people don't really want to say out loud. If one parent has money, status, trips, gifts, a newer life, a shiny new partner, and the other parent has truth, boundaries, and emotional accountability, many children will drift toward the reward system. Not because they're evil, but because they are human, immature, and wired for comfort. Especially if the alienating parent is saying, your other parent is unstable. Your other parent is the problem. Your other parent hurt me. Your other parent is dangerous, and I'm the safe one. So the child gets a 2-for-1 deal, comfort plus a story that gives them permission to reject you. Now let's get into this cutoff culture online. I'm not against boundaries. I teach boundaries. But here's what's happening. People confuse boundaries with punishment. They confuse self-protection with character assassination. A healthy boundary says things like, I won't tolerate screaming. If you scream, I'm ending the conversation. I'm open to repair when we're both calm. I love you. I'm not available for disrespect. Unhealthy boundaries sound like, you don't deserve access to me. You have to pay for this relationship. If you don't agree with me, you're toxic. I'm blocking you until you validate my version of reality. That's not a boundary, that's control. And alienation is control dressed up as healing language. Alienation is a unique kind of grief. There's no funeral. There's no closure. There's no social recognition, and you are to blame for the wound you're already bleeding from. You wake up every day in a reality where your child is alive but emotionally unreachable. And sometimes they're not just gone, they're against you. That creates chronic stress, nervous system dysregulation, panic, insomnia, obsessive rumination, despair. And for many parents, it's a sense of, I just can't survive that. So if that's you, I see you. I need you to have hope. Not because it guarantees they're going to come back, but because your life is worth more than their current dysfunction. And because sometimes time does reveal the truth. I do believe that. But either way, your life matters. Now let's talk about therapists, because this is a big one. There are phenomenal therapists out there. And there are therapists who are unintentionally dangerous in alienation cases. And here's why. Many therapists are also trained inside the same culture. Validate feelings first. If someone makes you uncomfortable, cut them off. Your truth is the truth. But in high conflict and narcissistic family systems, validation without discernment becomes gasoline on the fire. Also, I'm saying this respectfully, a lot of young adults seek out a young adult therapist because it feels relatable. But relatable is not the same as qualified for high conflict family pathology. Because if a therapist hasn't been trained to spot coercive control, enmeshment, splitting, triangulation, parental alienation patterns, personality disorder dynamics, they can accidentally reinforce the alienator's narrative. And then what happens? The child walks out thinking, my therapist agrees with me. My parent is the problem. What the therapist may have actually done is validate an unexamined story. I'm not saying all young therapists are bad. I'm saying alienation cases require specialized training, strong supervision, and the backbone to challenge distortion, not just nod and affirm. Now let me be crystal clear. Nothing I'm saying excuses your child's behavior, because there are plenty of kids who do not fall for this dynamic. They can see manipulation. They can feel what's real. They ask questions. They hold nuance. These kids tend to be emotionally mature, more independent thinkers, older souls, less motivated by comfort and approval, more capable of tolerating discomfort in relationships. So yes, some kids choose character. Some kids choose truth. Some choose the parent who has integrity, and some don't. I'm not here to sugarcoat it. Now let's address the question every alienated parent asks. Will they wake up one day? Sometimes, yes. Here are some common reasons a child wakes up. They become a parent and suddenly understand sacrifice. They may marry into a healthier family system and feel the contrast. The alienating parent could turn on them. A new spouse or sibling dynamic exposes the truth. A narcissistic collapse happens. They experience betrayal and finally recognize the pattern. And sometimes that wakes them up and produces empathy. But I need to say this carefully, it is not guaranteed. Some people do mature with life circumstances, and some people emotionally stay the same. They just get older. I've seen both. So the goal cannot be, I'll just hang on until they come back. The goal has to be, I'm going to build a life that is stable, meaningful, and whole, whether they come back or not. Because waiting to be chosen again can destroy you. You're fighting your ex, and you're also fighting a social narrative that says, and it's especially dangerous in families where one parent is already skilled at it, says that, it's okay to do these things. The parent that you're battling is rewriting history and positioning themselves as a victim. They're recruiting allies and conditioning the child to reject reality. So if you feel like you're being attacked from every angle, you are. It's not just your ex. It's the culture water your kids are swimming in. I want you to hold your truth without begging. If you need help navigating parental alienation, high conflict, narcissistic family systems, check out my link in my bio for resources and guides. And if you're ready for a one-on-one coaching, you can book a session with me there. And if this video hit home, subscribe, because I'm going to keep telling the truth about what's happening in families right now. I'll see you in the next video.